So yung mga mechanisms involved, so yung glomerular filtration, renal tubular reabsorption, and renal tubular secretion. Sorry. Discussing yung factors maintaining hypertonicity of the renal medullary interstitium. Normally kasi hypertonic yan eh. Yung renal cortex isotonic. Okay, so yan ang mga things you must remember or must know after this lecture. So regarding the functional anatomy, so ayan ang kidney, di ba? So connected siya sa ureter and then to the bladder where we store the urine and then out into the urethra. So, tapos ang kidneys, ayan, bean shape siya, di ba? Okay? Sorry. So it is covered by a capsule, yung renal capsule. And close to the capsule sa peripheral region, nandun ang renal cortex. Yan siya. Okay? So, then after the cortex, moving in, we now have the renal medulla. Yeah. Okay? So andyan na yung mga functional unit ng kidney, yung nephrons. So in the renal cortex and some parts present in the renal medulla. Then the said parts ng kidney separated by the renal column, responsible for forming the renal pyramids. And the renal pyramids, ang ano yan, end or distal end that will empty into the calyces o yung papilla. O kung marami, di papillae. So mag-empty na yan sa mga calyces, o first sa minor calyx and then later on sa major calyx. Tapos yung said calyces will converge to form the hilum, the renal hilum. And the renal hilum is now connected to the renal pelvis. So yan yung magko-collect ng mga products ng activity ng nephrons, yung eventually yung urine. Then transported now to the ureter. Natin sa ureter and then the bladder. Okay? So naturally, ang kidneys, mayroon siyang blood supply. So, from the renal artery, yung na kanyang arterial connection. Tapos, ang drainage, siyempre, renal vein. Okay? Ayan. Okay? Tapos, ang na-observe, under normal condition, yung sa major vessels, yung renal artery sa renal vein. Because of the positioning, yung positioning ng kidney sa body, and positioning of the vessels. Ang na-observe, yung renal artery, sa right kidney, it is longer compared sa left kidney. Kasi kanilang anatomical positioning ng kidney sa major vessels. Ang renal vein naman, shorter sa right kidney. Okay? Longer naman sa left kidney. Nakita niyo naman sa picture. Ayan ang renal artery. Okay? So, shorter sa left kidney, longer sa right kidney. Pag renal vein naman, shorter sa right kidney, longer naman sa left kidney. Okay. Visible yung cursor, guys, Hello?
Yes po.
Okay, thank you. Tapos another thing observed sa positioning ng kidney, yung right kidney is slightly lower in position compared sa left kidney. Medyo higher ang left kidney. And I know you know the reason why. Di ba? No reason dyan. Bakit lower ang right compared sa left? Ba't walang sumasagot? Di ba alam nyo naman yan sa anatomy? Dahil sa liver, di ba ang liver present sa upper part ng right kidney? It's a large organ. So medyo napupush niya downward yung right kidney. Unlike sa left, nandyan lang spleen So it is not as large or as big as the liver. So hindi na po push down yung left kidney. Yung right, push down normally by the liver. Kaya lower ang positioning ng right kidney compared sa left kidney. Tapos yung kidneys, ayan ang functional unit niya, yung mga nephrons. They number by 1.2 million per kidney. So we have a total of 2.4. Okay? And to maintain the activity, it normally receives 1/5 to 1/4 of the cardiac output. So 20 to 25% of the cardiac output. Kasi ang major function ng kidney, as we all know, it is to remove waste products from the blood. So it must receive a large amount of the cardiac output. So 1/5 to 1/4 yan. That is, alam niyo naman ang normal cardiac output. So the said volume is about 1 to 1.2 liters per minute. Tapos ang functional unit ng kidney, it is almost always presented in this manner sa textbooks. Okay? So the artery directly connected to the nephrons, so yung arterioles. Okay? Ayan yung afferent, efferent arterioles connected to the glomerulus. Okay? Yung filtering region ng nephron. Then the glomerulus is covered by the Bowman's capsule. And the Bowman's capsule will now empty into the proximal convoluted tubules. Okay? Yung na-filter ng glomerulus, yung blood yun, okay? We call that the filtrate. So that's the one entering the tubules. So, yung filtrate collected by the Bowman's capsule. So that encloses the glomerulus. So pag nag-filter yan, magpo-form siya ng what we call filtrate. And that is an ultrafiltrate of plasma. Blood yun, di ba, na-filter niya. So ultrafiltrate ng plasma yun. So eventually transported yan sa proximal convoluted tubule. And then it will proceed to the loop of Henle. From the loop of Henle, it will move towards the distal convoluted tubule. And then into the collecting tubules or the collecting ducts. So yan ang mga different parts ng nephron. Now, normally, ganyan ang presentation sa textbook. But that is not the normal positioning ng nephron. Hindi yan ang normal. It is only presented in this manner for us to see immediately, clearly the different parts of the nephron. So yung glomerulus, proximal convoluted, the distal convoluted, the loop of Henle, the collecting tubules or collecting ducts. Okay? So yan ang functional unit ng kidneys. We call it the nephron. Ang normal positioning, it should be having the distal convoluted tubule. Yung distal convoluted tubule, it should be in close contact with the glomerulus, especially the afferent arteriole. Yan ang normal. Ito kasi tinamo sa positioning yan. Okay? Yung DCT o the distal convoluted tubule is not close to the glomerulus. So, dapat ang position ganyan. Yan ang normal positioning. The distal convoluted tubule as well as the ascending portion, yung distal end ng ascending portion of the loop of Henle, it should be close to the arterioles or close to the glomerulus. Di ba? Ayan ang arterioles, ayan ang glomerulus, ayan ang Bowman's capsule, then the proximal convoluted tubule. Di ba? Doon mag-drain ng Bowman's capsule sa PCT. Then pupunta na ng loop of Henle. Yung DCT niyan, saka yung ascending portion ng loop of Henle, it should be in close contact with the arterioles or the glomerulus. Okay? Ayan ang distal part ng nephron, yung collecting tubules. Okay? So, meron yan sa renal cortex. Okay? And some parts are present in the renal medulla. Okay? So, yan dapat ang posisyon na yung DCT and the ascending portion ng loop of Henle. It should be in close contact with arterioles or the glomerulus. Para ma-form natin yung what we call important structure sa kidney, yung sa nephron, yung macula densa, wherein we have the juxtaglomerular apparatus, having the juxtaglomerular cells. Important yan, later we discuss natin yan. Yun ang mga responsible for production of renin. You remember renin, naalala nyo na yan, yung renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. So discuss natin yan later. So yan ang dapat normal position para meron tayo ng macula densa. Sorry. So what are the two types of nephrons as mentioned in the learning objective? So we have the cortical nephron and the juxtamedullary nephron. Dalawa yan, okay? So they are named based on their location sa kidney. Diba ang kidney, sabi merong renal cortex. Nasa periphery, close to the renal capsule. Kasi yung inner layers niya, yun ang renal medulla. Kasi yung interstitium ng renal cortex, it is normally isotonic. Yung fluid doon, Yung interstitial fluid sa renal cortex or the interstitial spaces, it contains an isotonic fluid pag renal cortex. Sa renal medulla, the fluid in the interstitial spaces, it's normally hypertonic. Okay? Importante yan, yung difference ng tonicity ng renal cortical interstitium and renal medullary interstitium. Now, if you look at the nephrons, okay, so they are located in the said parts ng kidney, renal cortex and renal medulla. And majority of their parts are present in the renal cortex. So karamihan nasa renal cortex. Okay? And if the said nephron, okay, if most of the parts are present in the renal cortex, so yung sa upper part ng renal cortex then, okay, we call that the cortical nephron or the superficial nephron kasi they are close to the renal capsule. Now, some of the nephrons, they have the structures close to the boundary. Yung boundary ng renal cortex and renal medulla. Closer sila doon kung sa junction. Junction of the renal cortex and the renal medulla. And they have a very long loop of Henle, mahaba. So that is what we call the juxtamedullary nephron. Present sa junction junction ng renal cortex and renal medulla. Okay, pero if you look again at the positioning ng mga nephrons, whether it's cortical or juxtamedullary, majority ng parts ng nephron are present in the cortex. Yung glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, distal tubule, okay? So majority are present in the renal cortex. Ang major difference talaga nila, yung location ng loop of Henle and the length of the loop of Henle. Pag cortical nephron, ang loop of Henle, majority ng parts ng loop of Henle, present sa cortex. Only a very short length is present in the renal medulla. Usually yung mga sinasabing thin portion of the loop of Henle. Kaya nang maninipis sila, kaya thin. Yung thicker part ng loop of Henle, thick descending yan. Ito yung thick ascending. So yung thick part ng loop of Henle, pag renal cortical nephron, present in the renal cortex. Yung thin portions ng loop of Henle, present in the renal medulla. Tapos shorter siya. Yan ang cortical nephron. Pag juxtamedullary nephron, majority ng loop of Henle present in the renal medulla. Whether it's the thick or the thin. And it has a very long loop. Especially yung kanyang thin portion. And they're all embedded in the renal medulla. So yan ang major difference nila ng juxtamedullary from the cortical nephron. Pero majority ng structures present in the renal cortex. Ang major difference yung loop of Henle. So majority ng parts ng loop of Henle, again I'll repeat majority ng parts ng loop of Henle pag cortical nasa cortex. A shorter part, especially nung thin portion, yun ang presence sa renal medulla. Sorry. Pag juxtamedullary, majority ng parts ng loop of Henle present in the medulla. Kaya tas longer siya. Kaya a major part embedded in a hypertonic environment. Okay? Kasi ang na-observe, we have greater number of cortical nephrons in comparison to the juxtamedullary. So, ang normal ratio, 7 cortical to 1 juxtamedullary nephron. So, another thing observed about the nephrons, they are not capable of regeneration. So, once there is injury o destruction ng nephron, they are not replaced by new nephrons. So, they're replaced by fibrous tissue. So, hindi sila nagre-regenerate. That explains why if there is renal injury, it is not replaced by new renal tissue. So, we resort to renal transplant. Hindi na mapapalit ng normal renal tissue or normal nephrons. Ang papalit na fibrous tissue. Kaya pag may destruction ng kidney, kailangan mo na i-transplant. Kasi ito yung mga differences between the cortical and juxtamedullary nephron. So as mentioned, pag cortical sa upper cortex yun, pag juxtamedullary nephron, okay, the structures are near the junction of the cortex and the medulla. Kaya tinawag na juxtamedullary. So, malapit sa junction. Okay? So ang glomerulus ng cortical usually smaller in comparison to the glomerulus ng juxtamedullary nephron. Bigger ang kanilang mga glomerulus. Ang lupopelli, kasi sinabi na yan, pag cortical, shorter. Okay? So, yung kanyang thick regions nasa cortex. So, yung thin portion ng lupopelli, embedded in the medulla. Pag juxtamedullary, yung thick portion and the thin portion ng lupopelli, they're all present in the medulla. And it has a very long lupopelli, especially the thin portion. Okay? Kasi ito, yung AA, pag nakita mo yan, initials na AA, afferent arteriole yan. Afferent arteriole, delivering blood to the glomerulus. Ang efferent arteriole naman, drains blood from the glomerulus. O yan na, ang afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. Magkaiba din, meron ding difference sa diameter. Yung afferent and efferent arteriole sa cortical and juxtamedullary nephron. Pag sa cortical, yung afferent arteriole, it has a bigger diameter than the efferent arteriole. So, yan ang na-observe. Normal yan, ha? Pag juxtamedullary nephron, yung afferent and the efferent arteriole, they have equal diameter. Equal lang ang size. No afferent with the efferent arteriolar diameter. Okay? Tapos ang cortical nephron, the efferent arteriole nila, di ba, it will drain blood from the glomerulus. So, enter yung blood sa afferent arteriole. So, punta ng glomerulus. Tapos mag-exit siya using the efferent. The efferent now are connected to another set ng capillary. Kasi capillary din ang glomerulus. So, remember in the kidneys, we have two capillary networks. Merong glomerular capillary region and peritubular capillary region. Yung peritubular, it is the one receiving blood from the efferent arteriole. Yung efferent arteriole ng cortical nephron, it drains into the peritubular capillaries. Okay? Tapos bigger yan compared sa juxtamedullary. Tapos ang juxtamedullary nephron, yung efferent arterioles nila, they drain into also peritubular capillaries, but it is always called the vasa recta. Peritubular capillary din yan. Yung halang to differentiate na this is the peritubular capillary ng juxtamedullary nephron, it is always called the vasa recta. And it is also called vasa recta because the capillaries are straight following the long loop of Henle embedded in the renal medulla. Diretso yan kaya ng vasa recta. Okay? But they are also peritubular capillaries. But present in the renal medulla. So doon magde-drain yung efferent arteriole ng juxtamedullary nephron. Okay? Tapos yung renin secretion, may macula densa, the juxtaglomerular cells, mas active yon sa cortical nephron. Almost none yung activity nila sa juxtamedullary. There is almost no activity nung macula densa sa juxtamedullary nephron. So ang mas active yung cortical. Tapos ang sympathetic innervation, greater sa cortical, lesser sa juxtamedullary nephron. Tapos sabi nga, di ba, greater ang number ng cortical compared sa juxtamedullary. Okay, 85% ng nephron, mga cortical. 15% lang yung juxtamedullary. Diba ang ratio 7:1. Tapos ang filtration rate is lower sa cortical nephron. Kasi nga, smaller yung kanilang glomerulus. Yan ang responsible sa filtration. Maliliit sila. So, slower yung ability nila to promote filtration. Ang juxtamedullary, bigger or larger ang glomerulus. So, faster yung ability to filter. Okay? Tapos, yung filtrate ng glomerulus present sa cortical nephron, it's normally isotonic. Always isotonic yun. Sa juxtamedullary nephron, it depends on what the body needs. It can make the filtrate hypertonic or make the filtrate hypotonic. Okay? Nababago niya yun. Ang ano mo lang once the filtrate is formed by the filtration happening in the glomerulus. Whether it's cortical or juxtamedullary, yung initial filtrate coming from the glomerulus, that is isotonic. Pag nag-enter na ngayon nung parts nung nephron, okay? Especially sa Leukopenly, doon nag-start yung changes sa juxtamedullary nephron. Pag-usapan natin yung later. So the changes in tonicity happens sa part na ng Leukopenly. Okay? So, yung ability ng juxtamedullary nephron to change the tonicity of the filtrate. Pero once the filtrate is formed by the glomerulus, diba siya mag-filter. And they will enter the Bowman's capsule or Bowman's area and then the proximal convoluted tubule. Isotonic pa rin yun, whether it's cortical or juxtamedullary. So the change in tonicity happens once the filtrate is now in the Leukopenly. Pag sa cortical, whether it is present in any parts ng nephron, yung filtrate isotonic. Sa juxtamedullary, once they are present in the Leukopenly, we see changes in the tonicity of the filtrate. So depending on what the body needs. So it can make the filtrate hypertonic or hypotonic. Okay? Tapos yung blood supply ng kidney. So from the renal artery. So punta siya ng mga different segments ng arterial connection. From the renal artery, it will form the segmental. Then the interlobar artery, arcuate artery, interlobular, and then the afferent arteriole. And these vessels are present in the renal columns. Sa renal columns yan. Yung mga blood vessels na yan. So yung afferent arteriole, as mentioned, will allow blood to enter the glomerulus. Capillary network din yan. Yan ang first capillary network ng kidney. Or ng nephron. And from the glomerular capillaries, responsible for filtering the blood. Yung blood still staying in the glomerular capillaries that are components ng blood na hindi na-filter. They will now go to the efferent arteriole. And the efferent arteriole will move the blood towards the peritubular capillaries or the vasa recta, depending on where the nephron is. Okay? Pag peritubular, di cortical nephron yun. Pag juxtamedullary, vasa recta. Another set ng capillary sa kidney. So dalawa yan merong glomerular capillary and peritubular capillary network. Tapos yung peritubular capillary, ito na yung may connection sa venous system. Take note, yung glomerular capillaries, wala silang venous connection. They don't have venous connections. So it will start with the arteriole afferent and end with the efferent arteriole. So it's bounded by arterioles. Okay, so it's a very different type of capillary. Di ba capillary normally in other organ systems? So ang proximal end niya attached to an arteriole. The distal end attached to a venule. Not the glomerular capillary. So ang proximal portion niya arteriole, ang distal portion niya arteriole pa rin. Kaya ang tawag nila dyan high pressure capillary. Kasi bounded by arterioles. Yung peritubular, it is similar to other capillaries ng other organs. So, ang proximal portion niya, arteriole. Ang distal end niya, venule. So, connected na yan sa venous system. So, ayan yung interlobular vein, arcuate vein, interlobar, segmental, and then renal vein. So, ang may connection sa venous system, yung peritubular capillaries. Okay? Yung glomerular capillary, they're not connected to the venous system. Okay yan ang mga special conditions ng kidney. So, ayan ulit, yung afferent arteriole, bigger ang afferent compared sa efferent. So, cortical nephron yan. Okay? So, sabi nga, the glomerular capillaries are responsible for filtering the blood. Entering the said region. Magpo-form siya ng filtrate received by the Bowman's capsule. Pupunta na yan ng proximal convoluted tubule. Okay? Tapos pupunta ng loop of Henle. Ayan ang loop of Henle. Tapos punta na ng distal tubule, then collecting ducts or collecting tubules. Okay? Kasi ito yung pag-cortical nephron, yung mga capillaries niya, ang tawag peritubular. Okay? Peritubular capillaries. Kaya yan. Kasi maiksi lang yung kanilang loop of Henle. Pag ano yan, juxtamedullary nephron, they have a very long loop of Henle, especially the thin portion. And it is followed by the peritubular capillaries. Hindi na siya ganyan kaya straight na sila. Straight na yung mga capillaries. Kaya ang tawag na vasa recta. Okay? They follow the long loop of Henle embedded in the renal medulla. Okay? So yung filtrate na nag-pass do sa tubule, so from proximal to loop of Henle to distal tubule collecting duct. So they're eventually collected kay the renal pelvis. So, basta nandiyan pa, if the fluid is still present in the tubular system, coming from the glomerulus, naging filtrate, ultrafiltrate ng plasma, there is still called filtrate, up to the collecting tubules or collecting ducts. Hanggang dyan. Filtrate pa rin yan. Because inside the said parts ng nephron, from PCT, loop of Henle to the distal convoluted and collecting ducts, there are still activities that are ongoing, changing the condition of the filtrate. So nagkakaroon pa ng variation sa condition ng filtrate. But once they are now in the collecting duct, lesser na in change. And when they go out of the collecting duct or collecting tubules, there are no more changes in the condition ng fluid. We now call it urine. Yun yung collected ng renal pelvis. Pero bago dumating na renal pelvis, di ba, they will first be received by the calyces. So babalik ko lang ulit tayo. Yung cortex, di ba, close to the renal capsule and ang renal medulla. So andyan yung mga nephrons, di ba? And they're separated by the renal column, forming the pyramids. Yung distal part ng pyramid, yun ang sabi papillae. And connected dyan sa calyces. So, what is received by the papillae, yan na yung urine. Yung mga filtrate inside the nephron, present in the renal pyramids. Andyan ang mga nephrons. Okay? Kasi yung na-form nilang urine, marireceive yun ng papillae. Tapos marireceive ng calyces, yung major and minor. Magde-drain na sila sa renal hilum and then to the renal pelvis. So pag nakita mo yun, pupunta na yung ureter. So ang set structure, yung mga calyces, the renal pelvis, the renal hilum, para silang funnel. That receives what are formed by the nephrons. Yung i-collect nila yan yan na yung urine pagpasok dyan. Okay? So, sa normal, sabi kanina, di ba, ang renal blood flow sa kidney represents 20% o 25% ng cardiac output. And sabi, the blood flow to each kidney through a renal artery. Tapos ang important features nga ng renal circulation, high ang blood flow rate. Kasi that is needed so that the kidney can effectively remove waste products from the blood. Okay? Tapos meron nga silang two capillary networks or two capillary beds. Yung glomerular capillary and peritubular capillary network. Dalawa, di ba? Tapos ang major site ng resistance sa arterioles. Yung afferent and efferent arterioles. Okay? Tapos ang na-observe, yung glomerular capillary bed, so it has no venous connection. So bounded siya ng arterioles. So it is described usually as a high-pressure capillary. So mataas ang hydrostatic pressure niyan kasi bounded by arterioles. You remember in your cardiovascular tissue, di ba sa mga systemic organs or almost all systemic organs, yung kanilang capillaries, ang proximal end, arteriole, ang distal end, venule. Sa kidney, makikita natin yun sa peritubular capillary. Yung said, normal condition ng capillaries na ang proximal, arterial, and distal connected to a venule. Eh di ba pag sa region ng veins, medyo lower ang capillary hydrostatic pressure. Sa venous side ng capillary. Ito parehong arterial. So higher ang capillary hydrostatic pressure niyan. And that is essential so that they can perform effectively their function, yung filtration. Diba na-remember nyo? Kaya what do you call that hypothesis? Sa movement ng fluid sa capillary bed. Diba normally sa proximal side, yung connected sa arterial, o meron tayong filtration. Kasi greater ang capillary hydrostatic pressure doon. Sa venous side, lower ang hydrostatic pressure. So nakikita doon, absorption. Anong tawag sa hypothesis na yun sa movement ng fluid sa capillary beds? Naku, walang sumasagot. Ba't ganon? Di ba tapos na kayo ng cardiovascular, ano?
Starling forces.
Very good. Yung Starling's forces or the Starling's hypothesis. Okay? Ang glomerular, kaya ako tinanong ang glomerular capillary beds, wala siyang venous connection. So it is not capable of absorption. So puro filtration lang yan. It is only capable of filtration because it is bounded by arterioles. Okay? It is always having high capillary pressure. Kaya yan ang normal condition ng glomerulus. So it can only do filtration. So hindi ka makakabasa, you will not read, or encounter a term na glomerular absorption. It cannot absorb. It is bounded by arterioles. So lagi lang siyang filter. It is always presenting filtration. Okay? As ang renal blood flow nga, because sabi 20 to 25% ng cardiac output. So it can have 1 to 1.2 liters per minute of blood flow. Yan ang kanyang renal blood flow. Okay? As ang cardiac output, di ba, 5 to 6 liters per minute. O 20 to 25% yan. So 1 to 1.2 liters per minute. Okay? As ang renal fraction, it can be obtained by dividing RBF with cardiac output. Yan, so renal blood flow over cardiac output. Okay, nakuha yan 0.2 or 20%. Diba? 1.2 over 6. Sorry. Kasi yung renal blood flow naman, pwede natin ma-compute using this equation. So aortic pressure minus renal venous pressure over renal vascular resistance. Okay? So we can eventually determine the percentage. So, yung renal fraction. Once we have the renal blood flow and the cardiac output. Okay? Tapos yung differences between the renal cortex and the renal medulla. Sabi yung blood flow sa cortex greater compared sa blood flow sa renal medulla. And the least blood flow is observed in the inner parts ng medulla, sa inner medullary region. So isa yung pinakamababa, yun ang lowest, 0.6 ml per gram per minute of tissue. Okay? Yan, sa renal cortex, yan ang kanyang blood flow, 5 ml per gram of renal tissue per minute. Pag outer portion ng medulla, yung close sa cortex, outer part, okay? So, kalahati na, half na lang siya, 2.5 ml na lang. Diba sa renal cortex, 5 ml, so that is half. Yung blood flow ng outer medulla. Sa inner medulla, much lesser, 0.6 na lang. Kaya prone ito sa mga ischemia. Yung inner medulla. Okay, and that is also the reason why the medullary region is always having a hypertonic interstitium. Lesser ang blood flow, so lesser ang mga exchanges between the interstitial fluid and the blood. Kaya hypertonic normally yung interstitial medullary region. Kaya yung oxygen level nila higher sa cortex. Mas greater ang blood flow lesser ang oxygen level sa medullary region. Especially sa inner medullary area. Kasi yung tonicity, sabi na pag renal cortex, normally yan isotonic. Ang renal medulla, the interstitium, normally hypertonic. Tapos yung structures, di ba? Pag cortical, almost all parts nung nephron are present in the cortex, except for the short loop of Henle, especially the thin portion. Pag renal medulla, almost all parts din present sa cortex, except for the loop of Henle na very long. Di ba? Okay? Yung kanyang thick saka thin, thick and thin portions ng loop of Henle are present in the renal medulla. Parts din ng collecting tubules present also in the renal medulla. Okay? Kasi it follows the loop of Henle. Okay? Kahit sa cortical, the collecting ducts, parts of the collecting ducts are also seen in a renal medulla. Kasi magde-drain na ng urine yun towards the calyces. So present din yung collecting ducts ng cortical nephron in the renal medulla. Okay? Tas yung capillaries, sinabi na yan. Pag cortical, ang tawag peritubular. Pag juxtamedullary, we call the peritubular capillaries vasa recta. Okay? Tapos ang regulation, especially ng blood flow ng kidneys, we have two major mechanisms, yung extrinsic and intrinsic regulation. Ang intrinsic, it is described usually as auto-regulation. So yung extrinsic